Greetings and salutations, and thank you for clicking on this video. This is an update video about my journey with Ubuntu MATE 16.04. And hadn't posted anything in a few days. I figured I'd put something up there. We're all kind of in limbo because we're waiting for the official release of Ubuntu 16.04 in about 2 weeks. And I have been using Ubuntu MATE like 2 days before it went into beta 1. So I actually first installed it in a virtual machine on February the 24th, and it became very apparent that I wanted this running on hardware. I've posted a lot of videos about this distribution, and I've gotten some pretty neat questions, and I know several of you have actually given it a go yourself and gone and gotten this beta. We're in beta 2 now, and put it on a virtual machine or put it on your system. Some of you have run into a few bugaboos, so have I, but that goes along with running a beta. I have really customized my desktop, and I've had some people ask me what layout did I use, how did I get there, that sort of thing. So the first thing I want to do in this video is I want to show you what I have done and how I got to it. And of course, it's very easy to do customizations with the MATE desktop, and the Ubuntu MATE developers have made that super easy with this particular tool here called MATE Tweak. And you can do simple stuff here like choose what's on your desktop, and then you have this magical little screen here where you can work on your interface. You'll notice that my current interface is custom Joe Tweak because once I got it exactly the way I wanted it, I saved it. And this is really nice. The only bad thing about this particular file is stored in the USR directory in the operating system folder. So therefore, if you were going to reinstall Ubuntu MATE, you may not be able to get back to this layout that easy. You're going to have to do it yourself again, because unless you manually save that file. And that's okay though, because once you get it set up the way you want it to, it's really not that hard to do, first of all, and you could duplicate it real easy. So once you get an idea of what you're doing and you get used to how to manipulate the desktop, it's no big deal. The menu that I'm using, I had been using in past videos. I was using the advanced menu, where it says here, enable advanced menu, and down here, and I turned that off because I got kind of tired of it. That is the same menu that you will find in Mint MATE, and it's been around for a long time, and I never did really like that menu, and it started to annoy me yet again, so I turned it off. This menu does everything that I need it to do. I can get to all of the applications. For me, just going and, like, if I know that I want something in Office, and I can just go and click on it. This is faster for me than, like, in Ubuntu's Unity, opening up the dash and typing. Okay, this is faster for me. I like a mouse-oriented menu, and this is definitely what that is. Some people don't like this, so you may want to activate the advanced menu, and that way you will have the ability to type in the name of an application and pretty much go straight to it. Now, it doesn't search files that are on the computer. For that, you have a different tool in the MATE desktop, and that is the MATE search tool. So if you want to find a file, you type your name in here and then tell it to take off and go find it, and it lists it right here. Alright, or a directory. So we can go ahead and just for an example, work, I'll put in work, and now we're going to find everything here that has the name work in it. And of course the first thing it gets is every song that I have loaded on here with work. And then there's the directory itself, so I can open that up if I want to. Okay, so that's how that works, gang, and there's not a way to get it to do it either, okay? This is just how the desktop works. So to come up with this layout, I started out with the standard layout, which is called Ubuntu MATE, right there. That's the one that you get when it's first installed. And it looks a lot like Ubuntu 10.10 Maverick Meerkat, from 2010, which was a great distribution of Ubuntu. And that's cool, but the only problem that I had with it was that one creates a panel here on the bottom, which I didn't want. I wanted to put everything that I would need up in the top panel and nothing I didn't. So I started out with that, deleted the bottom panel, and then started adding things here to the top panel to get the functionality that I needed. So we have the menu here. You can take this menu and you can make it so that like if you don't want to show places, you can turn that off. I like it, so I'm going to leave it on. So the places here gives you access to your home directory and your desktop and other places like that. So pretty cool to have that around. Let's see, what else did I do here? One of the things I need to talk about here is the window manager. One of the nice things about Ubuntu MATE is they give you a choice. And when you first install it, it comes up on Marco software rendering, so you're not using your GPU. And now, you don't get a whole lot of desktop effects that way, but if you have a really, really low-grade system and you don't have accelerated graphics, that might be the best way to go, or the only way you can go. You can enable Compiz, and if you enable Compiz, you can also turn everything off, no compositor at all. If you have really low-end hardware, you could just turn it off. You can enable Compiz, and Compiz gives you some more eye candy. You've seen that in past videos. Like if you come up here and you hover, then you're going to get a little preview that comes up that shows you what that window looks like. And they have some nice little just eye candy tweaks. The only problem with Compiz is it's just a little flaky. It always has been. Most of the time when you hear people complain about the Unity desktop itself being laggy, it's not Unity as much as it is Compiz that's causing that problem. And if you enable Compiz here in Ubuntu MATE, then you may notice on your hardware that it's just a touch laggy. So I have decided to go ahead and turn it off. Now the downside to that is that I lose the ability to zoom. I do not have the zoom feature. However, I have not been using that much in recent videos. Some people really like that, and some people find that to be super annoying. So we're going to see what life is like without the zoom. That's the only reason that I had it around anyway, was to be able to zoom in on things in videos. Using Marco GPU acceleration, and you just turn off the animation, you get this really snappy desktop. Everything just loads like that. And on my old E-machine with the single-core Celeron processor and the really old Intel graphics, it makes a huge difference not to have that running. So there you go. I do have Compiz enabled on everybody else's account but mine. So I have a standard setup, which is kind of what you saw in past videos that everybody else is using. This is the one that I've come up with. What else is there to talk about? This is pretty straightforward, the Ubuntu tweak here. So the other thing is that if you're running Compiz for the desktop switcher here, all right, you will not be able to choose the number of desktops. The Compiz setting is locked to 4. You can change that by going on the into the repositories and downloading the Compiz configuration tool. However, I played with that for a little while and I ran into a bunch of conflicts and I kept screwing up the desktop and having to reset to default anyway. Some people are really good at playing with Compiz and I'm not. So I just decided forget it. I'm not going to worry about it. But running Marco here, I can actually choose the number of workspaces that show up here in this switcher. And for me, 2 is enough. I don't need 3 or 4, whereas the Compiz is just 4. So to switch workspaces, I can either click here. So let's open something on this workspace so we see that we're switching. So I have the work folder open there, and I can use the keyboard shortcut, which is alternate control, and the right and left arrow to switch back and forth between desktops. Or I can just use a mouse and click up here and go from desktop to desktop. I can also drag whatever's in desktop 2. I have to be on it. I can drag what's in desktop 2 to desktop 1. So if I just want to move something over real quick, I can do that. Another thing that I have done to this, which is something that I think is actually really cool and I find very useful, is that I was able to tell the Marco window manager that when I maximize something, I want this decoration bar up top here to go away. And this is your title bar, and it's provided by the window manager. So therefore the window manager can turn that on or off. So when I maximize something, make it pretty much full screen, you'll notice that goes away. This is kind of what happens with the Unity desktop. But in Unity, of course, this top bar becomes the menu here and all that kind of stuff. And in this case, that top bar is actually more useful because it's got everything else in it. Now to undo that, let's go ahead and put this back up here again. If I want to undo the maximization, you notice I've lost the buttons. I have choices here. I can just right click, unminimize. With most applications, if it has a menu bar, you can just grab it and drag it, and there you go. Now it's unminimized. And you may be asking, well, why do you care? Why are you doing that? I will show you why I care. If I open Google Chrome here, you'll notice that Google Chrome does not have any window decorations. Okay? Even when I drag it down and unmaximize it, it doesn't. However, Firefox has window decorations, and I'm not sure if you can turn that off or not. So here's Firefox running. So if I would maximize Firefox, I would have this totally useless bar taking up real estate on the screen. On this screen that I'm doing this video on, it really doesn't matter. This is a very high definition screen, lots of room to move around. However, my other computer has a smaller screen on it. My laptop is very low resolution, like 1366 by 768. So this makes a big difference when you are maximizing something. It's just something that gets on my nerves. So let's go ahead and we'll maximize Firefox. See, it just goes away. To make it, just drag it back down, and now we're minimized again. For applications that do not allow me to do that, I can use keyboard shortcuts, or I can just right click. So I have those there. An example of an application that would not do that would be Mate Tweak. So let's go ahead and get that. And now I'm going to maximize this. And you see now I have no window decoration at all. But no big deal. Like I said, I can just do this to do that, or close it, or whatever I need to do, or use a keyboard shortcut. Alternate F4 will close the foreground application. So I thought that was kind of a cool little tweak to come up with. And what else is there to talk about? I've had a lot of people who have asked me why Ubuntu MATE. Why have I gone so gaga over this particular distribution of Linux? And that is because, let's compare it, for instance, to Mint MATE. All right? Which is a great distribution of Linux. I actually like it an awful lot. The MATE developers have really done this in such a way that they are looking to the future. So when you first boot it up here, you get this lovely welcome screen, and I have talked about this in past videos, and yes, I'm going to talk about it again because the awesomeness is unbelievable. So you click on Getting Started here, and then it pretty much takes you through the process of setting up your system. So here we can update the software, and then we can install our codecs package. And usually when you install Ubuntu, you will be offered a choice at the first install screen of whether you want to run updates and whether you want to install third-party codecs while the system is installing. Don't choose that and do this, because the Mate developers have chosen pretty much every codec that you could possibly ever need. It just shows up on the system. It's beautiful. There's only one thing I did not have by default, and that was I actually wanted to play a DVD in VLC. Well, I didn't, but my fiancée Cindy did. And so I had to come in here and install a package to make that work. Now, you can look that up, and you can figure out what package it is that you need to do that. But kind of would have been nice if that would have been a box that I could tick somewhere. Yes, I want to play DVDs, and it goes and gets it. But hey, can't have everything, right? So we go to this lovely application called the Software Boutique, which is their idea of an app store. And the Software Boutique is a dynamic application that will allow you to install the latest, greatest software for your system. All of the most popular applications that you really want to have on your machine. It is not every piece of software that is available in Ubuntu. It is just a small collection of software, the stuff that people use all the time. And what's nice about this is that it does not care where it gets the software from. So let's do a for instance here. If I go to Sound and Video and I go down to Spotify, and yes, gang, I know I've said this before in past videos, but I can't emphasize how cool this is enough. You'll see that I can install Spotify. I can do that with one click. All right? And if I show more information here, it's going to show me the source. And in this case, we're getting it from the Spotify repository. All right? If you go to the Ubuntu Software Center, it's only going to show you what's available in the repositories. Even Ubuntu, the new version, the software version where they've taken the software application from GNOME and 1604, that's what it does. It doesn't show you software that's available through a private program archive, a PPA. It doesn't show you software that you have to go to a particular repository to get. And this is a major stumbling block for people who are new to Linux. So they go, oh, I want Google Chrome. And then they go to the Google Chrome site and they download a deb file and all this crazy stuff. There's a lot of steps in that process. It can get them confused. And you're probably some of you are sitting out there and saying, well, who cares? I can do it, right? Well, what if you're just lazy? I'm lazy. I don't really want to sit here and go through 10 different steps to install a program. I would rather just do one click and have a script take care of it in the background. So over time, as the Ubuntu 1604 series of the LTS flavors, over time, this software is going to change. This application will change with it. Whereas with Ubuntu 1404, pretty much whatever was in the Software Center when it was first released is still there today. So if you want to get an updated later version, let's say, of LibreOffice, I mean, what are we on here? 5 point something? 5.1 or whatever? In this particular release, I think that the Ubuntu 1404 is currently running 4.3 or something like that. But as time rolls on here, as you're using this, let's say a year down the road, they come out with the LibreOffice 6, and it has a bunch of features in it that you want, like we're going to have the ability to collaborate over the internet, which is something that I would really like to see in LibreOffice. If that happens, you're going to want to upgrade and install the latest version. Chances are it will show up here in the Software Boutique. And also, Ubuntu is working on Snappy Package Management. And as that comes online later on down the road, we're talking about 2-3 years, but hey, this is a long-term support release. So therefore, 3 years from now, the software is going to be very different. This is going to become very important to have this Software Boutique, because when you hear about all this new software, you can come check and see if it has been approved for Ubuntu MATE and if it's available with a one-click install. And if you subscribe, a little button will come up here and tell you to subscribe to the latest updates on this. You'll always have those updates in there as long as you run updates on the machine. So yeah, that is pretty much how it works. It's Ubuntu MATE. It is awesome. It is the coolest distribution of Linux that I have ever used. And thank you very much for watching the video. I'm looking forward to all of the reactions that come along when it becomes official and people start installing it all over the place. I think this one's going to be the distro to watch. And since I'm running it on all of my machines, I'm definitely going to be watching it closely. Be sure and check out Freedom Penguin. Lots of great articles there. Also check out Easy Linux Online and Easy Linux on Facebook. Give it a like if you would, please, if you do. Those links are in the description below. and we'll be posting some more videos here when there's more stuff to talk about. Thank you very much for watching. We will talk again soon.